Since the Internet is an interconnected network of networks, a person who uses the Internet can use many different services on the Internet. These services are also called protocols, and one of the most common protocols is HTTP, or Hypertext Transfer Protocol. If we're surfing the World Wide Web, we are using Hypertext Transfer Protocol. If we're surfing the web and then we decide to download some files, maybe download some software, then we would be transferred to an FTP server. File Transfer Protocol is the service or protocol that we use whenever we download files on the Internet. If we decide to send an email, then we would be using Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, SMTP. If you've ever set up Prodigy or AOL, you'll notice that they ask for your SMTP server. And then if we decide to use a news group like Usenet, we would use Network News Transfer Protocol, NNTP. Let's focus on the most common protocols, HTTP and FTP. HTTP is used on World Wide Web browsers, most of the time just called browsers, and it provides an interface between websites and PCs. Browsers can access a server by either its IP address or its domain name. Browsers use HTTP to request and to pass documents on the web. Some terminology that we should know: if we are browsing the web, those little links that we double click on and go to another site are called hypertext. And the language that the Internet and that those web pages are made of is called HTML, which is Hypertext Markup Language. There are many new languages that are being developed to make it easier for people to develop content for the Internet. To connect directly to a resource on the Internet, we would use what's called a Uniform Resource Locator. The Uniform Resource Locator contains three pieces of information: a protocol, a domain name, and the path or file name once we get to the appropriate server. When we view a page from a browser and then store that information in our favorites, the URL, the Uniform Resource Locator, is what is saved. As we said earlier, whenever we use the Internet to transfer files, we're using FTP, File Transfer Protocol. And FTP programs can be downloaded from the Internet. In other words, we can download an FTP program that then we can use to upload FTP files to other services or to other servers. So in summary, in this chapter, we discussed Internet connectivity. We talked about TCP/IP and DNS. We also discussed routing and subnetting. And finally, Internet services and applications like the World Wide Web and File Transfer Protocol. In our next section, we'll switch gears entirely and talk about printers.